Right now, in this exact moment, you feel time moving forward. The past is gone. The future has not happened yet. Only now is real. But physics quietly disagrees. According to some of the most tested equations we have ever written, the moment you were born and the moment you will take your last breath are not behind you or ahead of you. They are simply there, existing, as real as this one. Tonight we are going to trace that strange idea, gently, from beginning to end. If this channel helps quiet your mind before sleep, take a soft moment to like and subscribe so it can find others like you. And before we begin, where are you listening from and what hour glows on your clock right now? There is a feeling you carry with you everywhere, so quietly and so constantly that you have probably never once stopped to question it. It is the feeling that this moment, the one you are in right now, is the only one that is real. Everything behind you has happened and is gone. Everything ahead of you has not yet arrived. And here you are, balanced on the thin, bright edge between the two, in the single place where life is actually taking place. The past is a story you remember. The future is a story you imagine. But now, this breath, this heartbeat, this soft weight of your body settling into wherever you are resting tonight, this is the one thing you are sure of. This is where you live. Let that sit for a moment, because it feels so obvious that it hardly seems worth saying. Of course now is real. Of course the past is gone. Of course the future has not happened yet. This is the most basic furniture of being alive, the thing every one of us seems to agree on without ever having to discuss it. The moment moves. It slides forward, second by second, carrying you with it, and behind you the moments fall away into memory, and ahead of you the moments wait, unmade, undecided, waiting for you to arrive and live them. You feel yourself flowing through time the way a small boat flows down a wide and gentle river, the banks slipping past, the water carrying you onward, always onward, never back. It is a beautiful picture. It is also, almost certainly, not how things actually are. I want to be careful here, because I am not going to tell you anything frightening tonight. Settle in. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breathing slow. Whatever you were carrying into this hour, set it down at the edge of the room for a while, because what physics has to say about time is not a warning, and it is not a threat. It is something stranger and softer than that, something that has quietly puzzled and comforted the people who think most carefully about the universe for more than 100 years. And the strange and soft thing is this: the flow you feel, the sense of moving forward through time, the certainty that only now is real, may be something your mind is adding to the world, rather than something the world actually contains. Stay with me. We are going to take this slowly, because it deserves to be taken slowly. When the people who study the deepest laws of the universe go looking through their equations, the ones that describe how matter moves and how light travels and how the whole vast machinery of reality fits together, they go looking for now. They look for some marker buried in the mathematics, some special line that says this moment is the present and that moment is the past. They look for the flow, the current of the river, the thing that moves, and what they find again and again is nothing. There is no now in the equations. There is no marker. There is no special moment. The mathematics describes all the moments of your life with exactly the same quiet evenness. The morning you were born, and the afternoon you learned to walk, and this very night, all of them sitting in the description with equal weight, none of them lit up as the real one, none of them moving. Let that land properly, because it is easy to hear it and let it slide past. The laws that describe the universe as accurately as anything we have ever discovered do not seem to know what time it is. They do not contain a present moment. They do not contain a past that is gone or a future that is waiting. They contain all of it at once, laid out and complete, like a thing that already exists in full rather than a thing that is still being written. So here is the picture I want to offer you tonight, gently, as something to rest against rather than something to argue with. Imagine that all the moments of your life already exist, not in some vague poetic way, but really in the same deep sense that the room around you exists right now. The moment you first opened your eyes as an infant, the moment you are in tonight, the moment somewhere ahead when you will take your last breath, all of them sitting there, real and complete and unchanging. And the only reason this particular moment feels like the only real one is that this is the moment where your awareness happens to be resting. Picture a book, a thick book, the kind that holds an entire life inside it. Every page already printed, every page already there. The first page and the last page, and every page in between, all of them existing at once, between the covers, all of them equally real. Now imagine your finger resting on a single page. That page feels like the only page, doesn't it? Because it is the one your finger is touching, the one under the soft pad of your fingertip, the one you can feel. But the other pages have not gone anywhere. The page before your finger is not destroyed, simply because you are no longer touching it. The page ahead is not blank, simply because you have not reached it yet. They are all there, all the time, the whole book complete and bound. Your finger is just resting on one of them. That is what physics seems to be quietly suggesting that now might be. Not a moment that moves, not a current that flows, just the place where your awareness happens to be resting on one page of a book that already contains every page of you. I find that idea simultaneously destabilizing and deeply, strangely comforting, and we are going to spend this whole night sitting with both of those feelings. Because if it is true, if all the moments of your life already exist, then something follows that I want to plant in your mind right now and leave there, growing quietly, until we return to it at the very end. If all the moments already exist, then the moment of your birth has not vanished. It is still there, and the moment of your final breath is not waiting in some dark, unmade future. It is also, in some deep sense, already there. Neither one is closer or further from you than this breath you are taking right now. All three of them simply are. I know how that sounds the first time you hear it. Let it be strange for now. We will come back to it, slowly, page by page, and by the end I think you will find it gentler than it seems tonight. For now, just notice that I have set it down in front of you, your birth and your last breath, no further away, in the deepest sense, than this very moment. Hold on to that. We will return to it. For now, let us stay with the landscape, because I think the landscape is the easiest way to begin to feel this. Imagine standing on a hillside, somewhere quiet, somewhere you have never been. Below you and around you, stretches an entire country. Rivers you have not yet crossed. Towns you have not yet walked through. Roads winding off in every direction. Over hills, into valleys, toward a horizon you cannot see past. The whole country is there, all of it, real and complete, existing right now, in full. The town to the east exists at the same time as the town to the west. The river you crossed an hour ago still exists, flowing, even though you have walked away from it and can no longer see it. The mountain you will reach tomorrow exists already, standing where it stands, whether or not you have arrived. The entire landscape is simply there, but you can only ever stand on one spot of it. That is the nature of being a traveler. You can hold the whole country in your mind. You can know that it all exists at once, but your feet can only ever touch one piece of ground at a time. And from that one spot, the rest of the country feels like memory or anticipation. The road behind you feels like the past. The road ahead feels like the future. But of course, the road behind you has not crumbled into nothing simply because you have walked on past it. And the road ahead has not failed to exist simply because your feet have not yet reached it. The whole landscape is there, all at once, complete. You are just standing on one part of it and calling that part here and calling that part now. This is the idea we are going to follow tonight, all the way to its quiet conclusion, that time might be less like a river and more like a landscape. That the moments of your life might not be flowing past you, but rather laid out in full, all of them existing together, while you walk across them and call whichever one you are standing on the present. That now might not be a special moment at all, but simply the place where your awareness happens to be. And if that is true, then nothing you have lived is truly gone, and nothing you have yet to live is truly absent. It is all simply there, in the great complete landscape of your life, waiting in a way that is not really waiting, because it already is. I told you this would not be frightening, and I meant it. But I also want to be honest with you, because the path we are walking has a darker middle before it has its gentle end. There are stretches of this idea that unsettle people the first time they meet them. The thought that the future is fixed. The thought that your last moment already exists somewhere in the landscape of you. The thought that the flow you have trusted your whole life, the forward motion that feels as real as your own heartbeat, might be something your mind is painting onto a world that does not actually move. These are not small thoughts. We are going to walk straight through them, slowly, and I am going to be beside you the whole way. And what I have found, every time I have walked this path myself, is that it does not end in dread. It ends in something closer to peace. It ends with the sense that nothing is ever really lost. But that is the end, and we are at the beginning. Tonight, we are at the very first page, the first spot on the hillside, the first soft place where the finger rests. So let us begin where everyone begins. Let us begin with the feeling itself, the feeling that now is the only real thing, and let us hold it up to the light and turn it slowly and ask whether it is telling us the truth. Close your eyes for a moment, if they are not closed already. Feel the moment you are in. Feel the weight of your body. Feel the air moving in and out of you, slow and unhurried. Feel how completely real this moment is, how it surrounds you on all sides, how it seems to be the only thing that exists. There is nothing before it that you can touch. There is nothing after it that you can reach. There is only this, only now, only here. And then ask yourself, very gently, one quiet question. When you remember this morning, where did this morning go? When you imagine tomorrow, where is tomorrow waiting? You speak of the past as gone and the future as not yet arrived, but gone to where and waiting in what? The river answer says the past poured away downstream and the future has not yet flowed in. But you have never seen the upstream or the downstream of time. You have never watched a moment arrive from somewhere or depart to somewhere. You have only ever been here, in the now, with the past as a feeling inside your head, and the future as a feeling inside your head, and the whole vast machinery of what is real and what is gone built entirely out of those two feelings. That is what we are going to question. Not whether the feelings are real, the feelings are completely real. You do remember the past, and you do anticipate the future, and that experience is as genuine as anything you will ever have. What we are going to question is whether those feelings are telling you the truth about the world, or only the truth about being a creature who experiences the world one moment at a time. Whether the past is actually gone, or only out of reach. Whether the future is actually unmade, or only unvisited. Whether the moment you are in is actually the only real one, or only the one your finger happens to be resting on. For now, simply notice how natural the river feels. Notice how completely you believe in the flow. Notice that you have never once in your entire life had a single moment that was not now. You have never experienced the past as past while you were living it. You have never experienced the future as future while you were living it. Every moment you have ever had, you have had as a now. The morning you were born was a now. This night is a now. The last breath you will ever take will be, when you reach it, a now. Every spot on the landscape feels like the center of the country when you are standing on it. Every page of the book feels like the only page when your finger is resting there. And maybe that is the first clue. Maybe the fact that every moment feels like now, that you have never caught a single moment being anything other than the present, is not evidence that now is special. Maybe it is evidence that now is simply wherever you happen to be. Maybe the present is not a moving spotlight sweeping along the timeline of your life, illuminating one moment and then the next. Maybe every moment is lit from within, complete in itself, real in itself, and the only thing that moves is the soft attention you bring to it, the finger drifting from page to page across a book that was already whole. I told you we would take this slowly, and we will. There is a great deal of ground ahead of us, and we are going to cross it gently, resting often, never rushing. We will look at why the river feels so real. We will look at what the universe is actually made of when you stitch space and time together into a single fabric. We will look at the strange and beautiful fact that two people can disagree about what now even means, and both be right. And we will bring all of it home, in the end, to you, to your own life, to your own birth and your own breath, and the one warm moment you happen to be resting in tonight. But for now, just rest here, on this first page. Feel the present moment holding you, and let one quiet possibility drift at the edge of your mind, undemanding, soft, the way a candle flame leans without going out. The possibility that this moment is not the only one that exists. That all the moments of your life are here, all at once, complete, and that you are simply the awareness that has come to rest tonight on this single page of a very large and already finished book. Let that sit for a moment. We have a long and gentle way to go, so let us begin with the river, because the river is where all of us begin. From the time you were small enough to barely understand words, you were taught to think of time as something that flows. You heard it everywhere, woven so deeply into the way people speak that you absorbed it without ever being taught it directly. Time passes, time flows, the days go by, the years slip away. We say that the future lies ahead and the past lies behind, that we move forward through our lives, that moments come and go. We talk about time the way we talk about water, something that streams past us, something we are carried along by, something always in motion, and the image that sits underneath all of it, the deep picture that organizes the whole way we feel about being alive, is the image of a river. Picture it. A wide, slow river moving through a quiet country. You are standing in it, up to your knees, in the one place where the water touches you. That place is now. That is the present, the single point where you stand getting wet, where life is actually happening. And the water that has already flowed past your legs, that is moving away from you downstream, gone, unreachable, that is the past. And the water that has not yet reached you, that is still flowing toward you from somewhere upstream, that is the future, rushing closer, about to arrive, about to become the present, and then immediately become the past. You stand there in the current, and the river of time pours through you, moment after moment after moment, and you are carried along with it, whether you wish to be or not. It is a good picture. I want to honor it before I question it, because it has earned that honor. This is not a foolish way to think about time. It is the most natural way a human being could possibly think about time, and it captures something deeply true about what it is like to be alive. We really do feel carried forward. We really do feel the present arriving and departing. We really do feel the past receding out of reach and the future approaching. The river is not a lie. The river is the most honest description of human experience that anyone has ever found. The question we are going to ask tonight is not whether the river describes how time feels. It clearly does. The question is whether the river describes how time is. But first, let us sit with why the feeling is so total. Because it is total. It is not a vague impression you can shake off. It is the very ground you stand on. You have never had a single experience that contradicted it. Not one. In your entire life, every moment you have ever lived has confirmed the river. So before we begin to question it, we should understand why it feels so absolutely unshakably real. And the answer, I think, has less to do with time itself and more to do with the strange and beautiful machine that is sitting behind your eyes right now, listening to these words. Your mind is built to feel the flow. It is built that way down to its deepest foundations. Think about what is happening inside you in any given moment. You are receiving the present, the sights and sounds and sensations pouring in through your senses, the warm, immediate flood of right now. And at the same time, you are holding the past, not living it, but holding it as memory. Behind you stretches a vast archive of moments you have already lived, all of them stored, all of them retrievable, a long corridor of yesterdays reaching back as far as you can recall. And ahead of you, you hold something different. Not memory, but expectation. The future is not stored in you the way the past is. The future is imagined, predicted, anticipated. You lean toward it, you guess at it, you prepare for it, but you do not remember it, because it has not, from your point of view, happened yet. And there it is. There is the whole asymmetry, the entire engine of the river sitting right inside your head. Memory points one way, anticipation points the other. The past is the direction you can remember. The future is the direction you cannot. And the present is the thin, bright seam between the two, the place where the unremembered becomes the remembered, where the anticipated becomes the experienced, where the not yet turns into the no longer. Your mind is a creature that stands forever at that seam, with a full archive behind it, and an empty corridor ahead of it, and from the inside, from the only point of view you have ever had, that feels exactly like standing in a river with the water flowing from the empty side toward the full side, from future into past, through the narrow gate of now. So of course you feel the flow. How could you not? You are built from the flow. The asymmetry between what you remember and what you anticipate is not some small feature of your experience. It is the shape of your experience. It is the reason you can tell a story about your own life, the reason you can plan and regret and hope and dread, the reason you have a sense of who you have been and who you might become. Take away the river and you take away the self, or at least the self as you know it. So it should not surprise us in the least that the river feels true. It feels true because we are made of it. And yet, I am going to ask you to hold two things at once now, and I am going to ask you to hold them gently, without forcing them to resolve. The first thing is everything I have just said. The river is real as experience. The flow is real as feeling. The asymmetry between memory and anticipation is a genuine and profound fact about what it is like to be a conscious creature. None of that is in question. Hold that in one hand, and in the other hand, hold this. When the people who study the universe most carefully go looking for the river in the laws of physics, they cannot find it. Let that land slowly. I am not going to rush past it, because it is the quiet hinge on which this whole night turns, and it deserves to be felt rather than merely heard. Here is what I mean. The laws of physics, the real ones, the deep equations that describe how everything behaves, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, are written in a particular way. And one of the strangest things about them, a thing that has unsettled and fascinated physicists for over a century, is that they do not contain a flow of time. They do not contain a present moment. They do not single out any instant as now. They do not mark any moment as past or any moment as future. The equations describe how things are arranged across time, all of time, evenly, without ever pointing to one moment and saying this one is happening and that one already happened. Think about what that means. You can take the equations that govern a swinging pendulum, or an orbiting planet, or a beam of light crossing the dark between stars, and you can ask them where the present is, and they will not answer, because there is no place in them for the question. They describe the whole motion, the whole history and future of the thing as a single complete pattern, the pendulum at every point in its swing, the planet at every point in its orbit, all of it laid out at once, none of it flowing, none of it arriving or departing. The equations know the shape of the whole thing. They simply do not know what time it is. And it goes deeper still, in a way I want to handle carefully because it surprises people. Most of the fundamental laws do not even care which direction time runs. You could run them forward, you could run them backward, and they would be equally happy, equally valid, equally true. A film of two billiard balls colliding looks perfectly lawful, played in reverse. The deep equations contain no arrow, no preferred direction, no sense that things must go from past to future, rather than from future to past. The forward flow that feels so absolute to you, so obvious, so much like the basic fabric of reality, is simply not there in the mathematics. The mathematics is calm and symmetrical and timeless, and it describes a universe that does not seem to flow at all. I know, sit with it, let it be strange, because this is the first soft tension of our whole journey, and I want you to feel it fully before we go on. On one side, the river, total and convincing, the deepest feeling you have, the very shape of your inner life. On the other side, the laws of the universe, the most precisely tested descriptions of reality that human beings have ever produced, and they contain no river at all. They contain no now. They contain no flow. They describe all the moments evenly, all at once, like a finished thing rather than an unfolding one. How do we hold both of those together? That is the question we're going to live inside for the rest of this night. Now, I want to be fair and I want to be careful, because it would be easy to overstate this. The fact that the equations do not contain a flowing present does not, by itself, prove that the present is an illusion. Maybe the equations are incomplete. Maybe there is some deeper law not yet discovered that does contain the flow, that does mark the now, and we simply have not found it yet. That is possible. People who think hard about these things take that possibility seriously, and so should we. We are not going to pretend that this question is finished, because it is not finished. The honest answer is that some of the most careful minds alive still disagree about it. But here is what is striking, the thing that makes this more than just a gap in our knowledge. It is not that physics looked for the flow and merely failed to find it. It is that physics works beautifully, completely, with stunning precision, without ever needing the flow at all. The equations predict the motion of planets and the behavior of light and the structure of atoms to an accuracy that almost defies belief. And they do all of this while remaining completely silent about which moment is now. The flow is not a missing piece that breaks the machine when you leave it out. The machine runs perfectly without it. The river is not required. Everything that happens just as the timeless equations say it should, and nowhere in that vast successful description does the universe ever need to know what time it is. And that is the soft and unsettling pivot. It is not that we have proven the river false. It is that we have built the most accurate picture of reality in human history, and the river is simply not in it, and the picture does not seem to miss it. The flow you feel so certainly may be real, and yet nothing in the deep description of the universe requires it to be. The present may be the center of your world, and yet it appears nowhere in the laws that govern that world. Let that settle for a moment. Let it settle the way silt settles in still water, slowly drifting down until the water clears. What does it mean for something to feel completely real and yet to be entirely absent from the deepest description of reality? It means, perhaps, that the thing is real in the way that a sunset is real. The sunset is a true and beautiful experience, and you would never call it a lie, but the sun is not actually setting. The sun is not moving at all. What is moving is you, carried on a turning world, and the motion you see in the sun is really the motion in yourself, projected outward onto the sky. The sunset is real as experience and false as description. It tells you the truth about what it is like to stand on a spinning planet, and nothing at all about what the sun is actually doing. Maybe the flow of time is like that. Maybe the river is a kind of sunset, a true and beautiful experience, woven from the way your mind holds the past as memory and reaches toward the future as anticipation, projected outward onto a universe that is not actually flowing at all. Maybe what is moving is not time, but you, your awareness, drifting across moments that are themselves perfectly still. Maybe the current you feel pouring through you is really the current of your own attention, sliding from one fixed moment to the next, and calling that sliding the passage of time. I am not asking you to believe that tonight. I am only asking you to hold it beside the river and feel how strange it is that both could be true at once. That you could be standing in a current you can feel against your legs, and that the current could, from the point of view of the deepest laws we know, not be flowing at all. This is the open loop we carry forward into the next part of our story. We have honored the river. We have felt why it is so total, why your mind is built to feel the flow, why memory points back and anticipation points ahead, and the present burns so brightly between them. And we have set against it the quiet, patient silence of the equations, which describe everything and contain no now. We have not resolved the tension. We are not going to resolve it quickly, but we have found the seam, the place where the felt world and the described world come apart. And in the parts ahead, we are going to slip into that seam and follow it all the way down. Because if the universe does not flow, if all the moments simply are evenly, completely, then we need to understand what the universe is actually made of instead. We need to understand the thing that the equations describe so well, the thing that contains every moment at once without singling out any of them as now. And to understand that, we have to do something that sounds almost impossible. We have to take time, the flowing river you have trusted your whole life, and we have to stitch it together with space, the still and solid world around you, into a single fabric. One thing, one landscape, one vast and finished structure that holds everywhere and every when together, all at once. That is where we are going next. For now, stay in the river a little longer. Feel it flowing. Feel the present arriving and departing, the past receding, the future approaching. Trust the feeling, because the feeling is yours and it is real. But let one small doubt drift in the current beside you, soft and undemanding. The doubt that the flowing might be in you and not in the world. The doubt that the river you are standing in might, when you finally look closely enough, turn out not to be moving at all. Let that sit for a moment and breathe. We have a long and gentle way still to go. So now we have to do something that sounds, at first, almost impossible. We have to take space and time, the two things you have always felt to be utterly different, and we have to bring them together into one. For most of human history, nobody would have dreamed of doing this. Space and time seemed like opposites, like two entirely separate kinds of thing that happened to share the same world. Space was the stage. Time was the play. Space was where things sat, the room around you, the distance between you and the wall, the gap between the earth and the moon. You could move through space freely, left or right, up or down, forward or back. You could return to a place you had left. Space held still and waited for you, and time was something else entirely. Time was the relentless one-way flow, the thing you could never move through freely, the thing that carried you forward whether you wished it or not, and never, ever let you go back. Space was the place. Time was the passing. They felt like different worlds. And then, a little over a century ago, a quiet and radical idea began to take shape. The idea was that space and time are not two separate things at all. They are two aspects of a single thing. They are stitched together, woven into one continuous fabric, so deeply joined that you cannot truly speak of one without the other. The room you are sitting in is not just a place in space. It is a place in space at a time. And those two facts, the where and the when, are not really separable. They are threads in the same cloth. I want to slow down here, because this is the heart of everything, and I do not want it to slide past as a clever abstraction. I want you to feel it. Think about how you actually describe any event in your life. Suppose you want to tell someone where to meet you. It is not enough to say the corner of the two streets. That is only the where. You also have to say when. 3 o'clock. The corner of the two streets at 3 o'clock. 4 numbers, really. 3 to fix the place, the street, the cross street, the floor of the building, and 1 more to fix the time. And only when you have all 4 does the meeting actually have a location in the world. Leave out the when and the where is empty, because the corner exists at every hour, and you would wander it forever. Leave out the where and the when is empty, because 3 o'clock happens everywhere at once and tells you nothing about where to stand. Every event that has ever happened, every event that ever will happen, sits at the meeting of those two kinds of fact, a place and a moment, a where and a when. And the deep idea, the one that reshaped how we understand reality, is that these are not separate coordinates pinned to separate worlds. They are 4 directions within a single unified structure. 3 of those directions we call space, 1 of them we call time. But they belong to the same fabric, the same continuous whole, and that whole has a name. We call it spacetime. 1 word, because it is one thing. Let that sit for a moment. Space and time, the 2 great opposites, are not opposites at all. They are woven together into a single seamless fabric that holds every place and every moment in one structure. And here is the part that begins, very gently, to change everything. If space and time are one fabric, then a moment in time is not so different from a place in space. The afternoon of your 10th birthday is a location in that fabric, just as surely as the house you grew up in is a location in it. They are both addresses in the same vast structure. One we reach by traveling through space, the other we reach by traveling through time, but they are both simply there, both real locations in the one continuous whole. And this is where I want to give you a picture to hold, the picture we will carry through the rest of this night. I want you to imagine a map, not a small map. Imagine a map of an entire country, an enormous map spread out before you, complete in every detail. Every road is drawn on it, every town, every river, every hill, every quiet crossroads in the middle of nowhere. The cities of the north and the villages of the south, all of them on the map at once, all of them existing together on the same sheet. When you look at the map, you do not see the northern city flowing away while the southern village arrives. You see them both, side by side, present together, equally real, equally there. The map holds the whole country in a single glance, all of it at once. Nothing flowing, nothing arriving, nothing departing, just the whole thing laid out, complete. Now here is the strange and important thing about this map. Look closely at it, search it. Somewhere on this map, is there a small glowing dot that says you are here? There is not. Of course there is not. A map of a country does not contain a "you are here," because the map does not know where any particular traveler happens to be standing. The map shows the city and the village, and the road between them, all of it, evenly, with no special mark singling out one spot as the one that is real right now. The "you are here" is not a feature of the country. It is not drawn into the land. It only appears when a traveler stands on the map and points to where they happen to be. The dot lives in the traveler, not in the territory. The country itself has no here. It has only places, all of them equally real, and the here is whatever place you happen to be standing on. I want you to feel the force of that, slowly, because it is the whole idea in miniature. The map of the country has no "you are here" built into it. The "you are here" is added by a traveler, and the fabric of space-time, this single unified structure that holds every place and every moment together, may be exactly the same. It may have no now built into it. The now may be added by a traveler, by you, by the awareness that happens to be resting at one particular location in the fabric, pointing, in effect, at the moment it occupies, and saying, "This one, this is the real one, this is now." Just as the dot on the map lives in the traveler and not in the country, the now may live in you and not in the universe. Where, on such a map, could the present possibly live? Let that question hang in the air for a moment. Do not rush to answer it. Just feel how hard it is to answer. If the universe is a fabric that holds every moment of all time together evenly, the way a map holds every place in a country, then where is the present supposed to be? Which moment is now? The map does not say. The fabric does not say. There is no glowing line running across the structure, marking this instant as the live one and the others as dead. There is only the whole thing, every moment, all at once, with no built-in mark of which one is happening. The present, the now you feel so certain of, finds no home in the map. It has nowhere to live, except inside the traveler. And now I want to bring this gently home to you, because so far we have spoken of countries and maps, and the thing I actually want you to feel tonight is much closer than any country. The thing I want you to feel is your own life, because if space-time is a map, then your life is drawn on it. Think about that, slowly. Every moment you have ever lived is an event in the fabric, a place and a moment together, a location in space-time, an address in the great map. The morning you were born is a point on the map. The first time you stood on your own two legs and felt the astonishing fact of standing, that is a point on the map. The faces of the people you have loved, the rooms you have slept in, the ordinary afternoons you have long forgotten, every one of them is a location in the structure, drawn there, marked there, real there, and If the map holds every place at once, evenly, with none flowing away and none arriving, then it holds every moment of your life at once, evenly, with none of them gone and none of them yet to come. They are all simply on the map, all drawn, all there, your whole life, laid out across the fabric. Not a story being written line by line, one word appearing after another while the earlier words vanish. A shape, a single continuous shape, already complete, stretching across the map from the point of your birth to the point of your final breath, with every moment in between marked in full. A long, winding path through the country of space-time. Every step of it real, every step of it there, all at once. I told you we would slow down here, and I mean it. Let this settle into you the way warmth settles into cold hands. Slowly, from the outside in. You have always thought of your life as something being written. Each day a new line, the earlier lines fading, growing dim, slipping into a past that no longer exists. The later lines blank, unwritten, waiting for you to live them into being. You have felt yourself to be the moving point of the pen, the one live spot where the writing is actually happening, with finished pages behind you and empty pages ahead. That is the river again, in another form, the river of the story, flowing line by line. But the map suggests something else. The map suggests that your life is not being written line by line. The map suggests that your life is already drawn, the whole shape of it, every line at once, and that you are not the pen moving across the page. You are the reader, moving your eyes along a story that was already complete before you began to read it. The lines behind you have not faded. They are still on the page, still written, still there. The lines ahead are not blank. They are already written, already there, simply not yet reached by the soft moving point of your attention. The whole story exists, all at once, and you are traveling through it, calling whichever line you are reading now. Where then is the present? Where, on the map of your life, is the now? Again, let the question sit, because the answer, the strange and beautiful answer that we are slowly walking toward, is that the present may not be on the map at all. The present may be nowhere in your life, as it is actually laid out in the fabric. The present may be only the place where your awareness happens to be resting, the dot that you, the traveler, add to a map that has no dot of its own. Every moment of your life is equally real, equally there, equally drawn. And the only thing that makes this moment feel like now is that this is where you are standing. This is where the finger rests. This is the spot on the map your awareness has reached. I find that almost unbearably gentle the more I sit with it, and I want to tell you why before we close this part and move on. Because the river told you that your past was gone. The river told you that every moment you have lived has poured away downstream, lost, unreachable, dissolved into nothing. The river is a story of endless quiet loss, moment after moment falling away behind you forever. But the map tells a different story. The map says nothing is gone. The map says every moment you have ever lived is still there, still drawn, still real, a permanent location in the fabric of the universe. The morning of your birth has not dissolved. It is still an event in space-time, as real as this one. The afternoons you thought you had lost are not lost. They are still on the map, still there, still complete. You have not been losing your life moment by moment. You have been adding to a shape that does not fade. Every step you have taken across the country is still part of the country. Every line you have read is still written on the page. The traveler moves, but the map does not erase the places behind the traveler. The reader moves, but the story does not blank the pages already read. This is the open loop we carry into what comes next, and it is the one I want you to feel growing inside you now, quietly, as we go on. If every moment of your life is already drawn on the map, then your birth is still there and your last breath is also there, both of them real, both of them locations in the fabric, neither of them flowing towards you or away from you, because nothing on the map flows at all. We are walking slowly toward what that means for you, for the shape of your own life, for the moments you fear and the moments you grieve. But we are not there yet. We have only just learned that the map exists, that space and time are one fabric, that everywhere and every when is held together in a single structure with no built-in now. There is something we have to face before we can go home to your life. We have to face the strangest discovery of all, the one that turns the map from a beautiful idea into something the universe seems genuinely to insist upon. We have to discover that the now is not only missing from the map in theory, it is missing in a way that two different travelers can prove to each other. Because two people, moving differently through the fabric, can look at the very same map and disagree about which moments are happening at the same time. They can disagree about what now even means, and neither of them is wrong. But that is the next part of our story, and it deserves its own quiet hour. For now, stay with the map. Let your eyes drift across the country of your own life, every road and every town of it drawn and waiting and real. Feel how nothing on it is truly gone. Feel how your whole life may be a single shape, already complete, that you are slowly and tenderly reading rather than frantically writing. And let one soft question rest in you as your breathing slows. If the map holds every moment at once and adds no mark of which one is now, then the now you are feeling tonight, this warm and certain present, may be nothing more and nothing less than the place where you happen to be standing. The one spot on a vast and finished map where your awareness has, for this gentle moment, come to rest. Let that sit for a moment. We have further still to go. Now we come to the strangest part of the whole journey, and I want you to know before we begin that it is also the part that turns everything we have said from a beautiful idea into something the universe seems to genuinely insist upon. Up until now, the map has been a way of thinking, a gentle reframe, a different story we could choose to tell. What comes next is not a choice. What comes next is something that careful measurement has confirmed again and again, something that the universe demonstrates whether we like it or not. And it is this: the now is not shared. Your now and my now are not the same. Two people moving differently through the world will disagree about which moments are happening at the same time, and neither of them will be wrong. Let that sit for just a moment before we unfold it, because it sounds at first like nonsense. Of course, now is shared. Of course, this moment, the one you are in, is the same moment everyone everywhere is in. When it is now for you, it is now for me, and it is now for a person on the far side of the world, and it is now for a star at the edge of the galaxy. There is one now, one present, one universal moment that the whole universe shares, ticking forward together, everywhere at once. That feels as obvious as anything could feel. It feels like the bedrock under all the other bedrock. And it is Almost certainly not true. I am going to walk you through this very gently, with a picture, the way I have walked you through everything else, because the only way to feel it is to imagine it. So let your breathing slow and let us go somewhere quiet. Let us go out into the vast dark, far from any world, into the deep and silent space between the stars, where there is nothing but the soft drift of two travelers passing each other in the immense calm. Imagine two travelers, each in their own small craft, moving through that great stillness. They are not racing, there is no drama. They are simply drifting, each on their own gentle path, and at one moment their paths bring them close, and they pass each other slowly in the dark. One is moving in one direction, the other is moving in another. And here is the only thing that matters about this scene. They are moving differently. Not quickly, not violently, just differently. One drifts one way through the fabric of space-time, the other drifts another way, and as they pass, each of them carries with them their own sense of now. What does it mean to carry a sense of now? It means this. At the moment they pass, each traveler can ask a simple question. Right now, in this instant, what else is happening in the universe? Far away, across the immense dark, on some distant world, what is taking place at this very moment, the same moment I am in? Each traveler can draw in their mind a great slice across all of space, a single sheet that says everything on this sheet is happening now, at the same time as me. That slice is their present. It is their now. Stretched across the whole universe, the set of all the events they would call simultaneous with the instant they are living. And here is the discovery that overturned everything. The two travelers, passing at the very same point, in the very same instant, drawing their slices of now across the very same universe, do not draw the same slice. Let that land slowly. Because of the way they are moving differently through the fabric, their slices tilt at slightly different angles. Where one traveler now cuts across the distant universe, the other traveler now cuts at a slightly different slant, and so they disagree. An event far away that the first traveler says is happening right now, the second traveler says has not yet happened. And an event that the second traveler says is happening now, the first traveler says is already over, already in the past. They are sitting side by side, in the same place, in the same instant, and they cannot agree on what now means out there in the distant dark. One of them says, a thing has happened. The other says, it is still to come. And there is no experiment, no measurement, no appeal to any higher authority that can settle which of them is right, because neither of them is wrong. They are both simply slicing the same unchanging reality at a slightly different angle. I want to dwell here because this is the conceptual heart of the whole night, and I do not want it to pass as a trick or a paradox. It is not a trick. It is not a confusion or a measurement error or a failure of their instruments. It is a genuine feature of how the universe is built. The now, the present moment, the slice of simultaneity that each of us carries is not a single universal sheet laid across all of reality. It is a slice that depends on how you are moving. Tilt your motion, and you tilt your now. And since different people move in different ways, different people carry different nows. There is no one slice that is the true present. There are countless slices, all tilted at slightly different angles, all equally valid, all cutting through the same fixed fabric. Picture it once more, slowly, because the image is everything here. Imagine the whole of reality as a great solid block, a single unchanging structure that holds every event of all time together. Now imagine slicing that block with a knife, cutting a single flat sheet through it, and saying, everything on this sheet is now. That sheet is a present moment, a slice of simultaneity. And now imagine tilting the knife, just slightly, and slicing again, a different sheet, a different set of events called now. Both sheets cut through the same block. The block does not change. The block is exactly the same whether you slice it one way or the other. The only thing that changes is the angle of the cut, and the angle of the cut is set by how you are moving. So the two travelers passing in the dark are simply two knives held at two slightly different angles, cutting the same fixed block of reality into two slightly different sheets of now. Neither sheet is the real one. The block does not have a real sheet. The block just is, whole and complete, and the sheets are something the travelers bring to it. The way the dot of you are here is something the traveler brings to the map. And now follow me carefully, gently, into what this means, because this is where the abstraction becomes something tender and close. If now depends on how you are moving, then now cannot be a single universal moment shared by everyone. There is no master clock at the center of the universe, ticking out the one true present that we all live in together. There is no cosmic now. There are only the countless private nows of countless travelers, each slicing the block at their own angle, each completely valid, none of them the truth. The present, the thing you have always felt to be the one real slice of time, the live edge of reality, where everything is actually happening, turns out not to be a single thing at all. It is as personal as a point of view. It is as varied as motion itself. And if the present is not one shared slice, if my now and your now can genuinely differ, then the present cannot be the one real slice of time. This is the quiet conclusion that has been waiting for us since the very beginning of this night, and now we can finally say it plainly. The reason the present feels like the only real moment is that it feels like the live edge of reality, the one slice where things are truly happening while all other slices are dead, gone, or not yet born. But if there is no single present, if instead there are countless presents all tilted at different angles, all equally valid, then no single slice can be the real one. They cannot all be the one true edge of reality, and there is no reason to crown any one of them over the others, which leaves us with only one gentle possibility. Perhaps none of the slices is the real one. Perhaps the slicing itself is something we bring, and the block, the whole fixed fabric, all the events of all time together, is what is actually real. Let that sit for a long, slow moment. Because do you see what has happened? We tried to find the present, the now, the one moment that is truly happening. And the universe answered us by showing that the present is not a property of the universe at all. It is a property of the traveler. The universe is the block, whole and timeless and complete. The now is the angle of your slice through it. And because the angle can change, because two people side by side can slice differently and both be right, the now cannot be the one real moment. It can only be a point of view. I told you I would keep this wondering rather than frightening, and I want to honor that now, because I can feel how this might tilt toward vertigo if we let it. So, let us steady ourselves. Nothing here takes anything away from you. The traveler still slices. You still have a now vivid and warm and entirely yours. The slice your own motion carves through the fabric tonight. That now is real, as your experience, as real as it has always been. What has changed is only this. You can no longer believe that your now is the now, the single privileged edge of reality that the whole universe shares. Your now is yours. Another traveler's now is theirs. And the deeper reality, the thing underneath all the slices, is the whole block, the complete fabric, every moment held together at once. And here is the soft and astonishing thing that follows. The thing I want to begin threading toward your own life before we close this part. If two travelers passing in the dark can disagree about whether a distant event has happened yet, then for one of them, that event is already in the past, already real, already fixed, while for the other, it has not yet occurred. And both are right, which means the event must, in some deep sense, already exist, fully and completely, regardless of whose slice happens to include it yet. Because how could one traveler truthfully say it has already happened if it were not already there in the fabric to be happened? The fact that someone, somewhere, moving in the right way, would slice their now so as to include that distant event as already real, tells us that the event is there, in the block, whether or not your own slice has reached it. Sit with that, gently. An event that lies in your future, that you have not yet reached, that feels to you unmade and undecided, may already lie in the past of another traveler. And if it lies in their past, it is already there, already real, already part of the fixed and finished fabric. Your future is someone else's already happened. And the only way both can be true is if the event simply exists, woven into the block, neither waiting nor gone, just there. Now, let us bring it home, slowly, to you, because this is where the whole night has been quietly leading. You have a future. You feel it ahead of you, unmade, open, undecided, a blank stretch of pages you have not yet written. But the travelers in the dark have just shown us something tender and strange. The moments of your future, the ones that feel so unreal to you, so not yet, so possibly never, may already be as real as this one. Somewhere, in principle, there could be a traveler moving in such a way that their slice of now includes a moment of your future as something already happening, or even already over. And if their slice can truthfully include it, then it is there. It exists. Not as a possibility, not as a maybe, but as a real location in the fabric, just as real as the moment you are resting in tonight. And the same is true, more gently still, of your past. The moments you have lived, the ones the river told you had poured away downstream into nothing, may not have gone anywhere at all. For another traveler, moving differently, those moments might not even be in the past yet. They might still lie in that traveler's future, still ahead, still to come. And how could a moment still lie ahead for someone if it had truly dissolved into nothing? It cannot be gone for you and still to come for them unless it simply is, sitting in the fabric, real and permanent, sliced one way by your motion and another way by theirs. This is the open loop I want to leave widening inside you as we move on. We came out into the dark to watch two travelers pass, and we discovered that the present is not one thing. We discovered that now is a slice, not a fact, an angle each of us brings to a block that holds all of time at once. And we discovered, almost as an afterthought, the most personal thing of all, that your future moments may already be real, already there in the fabric, already someone's past, and that your past moments may not be gone, but simply sliced differently, still real, still held, perhaps still someone's future yet to come. Your birth, your last breath, this very moment, if the now is only an angle, and the fabric holds every slice at once, then all three of them are simply there, woven into the same unchanging block, none of them more real than the others, none of them flowing towards you or away from you, because nothing in the block flows at all. We are walking now straight toward your own life, toward what it means that your beginning and your ending are not behind you and ahead of you, but simply, quietly, alongside you, here, in the fabric, real, but that is for the parts to come. For now, let the two travelers drift apart again, each carrying their own gentle now into the dark, each right, neither wrong, and rest in the quiet wonder of what they showed us. That the present you feel so certain of is yours alone, a single tilted slice through a vast and finished reality, and that the rest of that reality, all the moments you have lived and all the moments you have yet to live, is not gone and not waiting, but simply, wholly, already there. Let that sit for a moment and breathe. We are nearly home now. So now let us come home. We have been out in the deep dark, watching travelers pass, slicing the block of reality at their tilted angles. We have walked across the great map of space-time and found no glowing dot of now. We have searched the equations and found no flow. And all of it, every step, has been quietly leading to one place. The place that matters most, the place that is closer to you than any star or any distant traveler. It has been leading back to you, to your own life, to the small warm fact of your own existence, resting wherever you are resting tonight. Because here is what all of it means, when you finally bring it home to the body. If every moment exists on the fabric equally, if the now is only the place where your awareness happens to rest, if the past has not poured away and the future is not unmade, then something follows about your own life that I have been holding for you since the very first page, waiting until you were ready to feel it gently. It is this: the moment you were born has not gone anywhere. Let that sit for a long, slow moment. The river told you otherwise. The river told you that your birth was the furthest thing downstream, the most distant water, long since flowed away, dissolved, unreachable, gone forever into a past that no longer exists. The river told you that you have spent your whole life moving away from your beginning, that every day carried you further from it, that it grew smaller and dimmer behind you, until it was nothing but a faint and fading memory, a story told by others, a thing that happened once and then was lost. That is the river's account of your birth, a vanished moment, a dead and unreachable past. But the fabric tells a different story, and I want to tell it to you now, tenderly, because it is one of the gentlest things I know. The moment you were born is still there, not as a memory, not as a story, as a real location in the fabric of the universe, a fixed point on the great landscape, an event in space-time as real and as present as the moment you are in right now. The morning you first opened your eyes, the first time air ever moved into your lungs, the first sound you ever heard, the first warmth you ever felt against your new skin. That is not gone. It is there. It is woven into the block, permanent, complete, unchanging, a place on the map that exists whether or not you are standing on it. You have not been moving away from your birth. You have only been moving across the landscape, and your birth has stayed exactly where it is, exactly as real as it ever was, simply at a part of the map your feet no longer touch. Feel how different that is from the river. The river says loss. The fabric says permanence. The river says your beginning has dissolved into nothing. The fabric says your beginning is still there, still itself, still real, a fixed and lasting point that nothing can erase, because nothing on the map is ever erased. The traveler moves, but the country does not vanish behind the traveler. The reader turns the page, but the earlier pages are not torn out and burned. They remain written, whole, waiting in the book that holds them all at once. I want to be very careful here, because there is a darker way to say this, and I do not want you to hear the darker way. There is a dramatic version of this idea, the kind that arrives like a thunderclap, the kind that says you are being born and dying at the very same instant, that your whole life is collapsing into a single terrible point, that there is no difference between your first breath and your last, because all of it is happening at once. That version is meant to frighten. It is meant to land in your chest like cold water. And I want to tell you, gently, that it is not the version I am offering you tonight, and I do not think it is even the truer version. It mistakes the togetherness of all moments for a collapse of all moments. It hears all moments are real and twists it into all moments are now, which is not the same thing at all. The gentler version, the one I believe is closer to the truth, is this. Every moment of your life remains itself. Your birth is still your birth, sitting at its own place on the landscape, complete, distinct, whole. Your last breath is still your last breath, sitting at its own place, far across the map, complete, distinct, whole. They are not crammed together into one instant. They are not happening at the same time. They are spread across the fabric exactly as they have always been spread, each at its own location, each separated from the others by the long, quiet distance of a life. Nothing collapses, nothing crowds. The morning of your birth does not touch the evening of your death. They simply both exist, each in its place, the way two distant cities both exist on a map without being pressed against each other. What changes is only this: neither one is gone, and neither one is waiting. Both are simply there, and you, the awareness that is you, travel across them. That is the gentlest image I can offer you, and I want you to hold it as you rest. Imagine yourself as a reader, moving slowly through a book whose every page is already printed. The story has an ending. It was written before you began to read, but you do not experience it all at once. You experience it page by page, line by line, in order, each moment arriving fresh and alive as your eyes reach it, each moment feeling like the present, because it is the page your attention happens to be resting on. The ending is already printed. It has been printed the whole time. But that does not make your reading any less real, any less alive, any less yours. You still feel every line as you reach it. You still laugh and ache and wonder your way through the story, one page at a time, even though the whole book was complete before you opened it. That is what it might be to live a life in a universe where every moment already exists. Your ending is already printed. Your beginning is still on the page. And you, the soft moving attention that is your awareness, travel across them in order, feeling each moment as now, because it is the page you have reached, never experiencing the whole book at once, never crushed under the weight of all of it together, only ever resting gently on one line at a time. The book is finished and your reading is alive, both at once. There is no contradiction in it. There is only the quiet miracle of a complete story being read by a living reader, moment after moment after moment, each one fresh, each one real, each one now. Let your cadence slow with mine here. Let the breath lengthen. There is nothing to brace against in this. There is only something to rest into. I want to give you a way to feel the shape of your whole life at once, gently, from a great soft distance, the way you might look down at a country from very high above. Imagine you could rise up out of time the way you can rise up out of a landscape, lifting higher and higher until the whole country lay spread beneath you in a single view. From up there, you would not see your life as a flowing river, you would see it as a shape. A single, continuous shape, beginning at the small, bright point of your birth, winding across the fabric through every place you ever stood and every moment you ever lived, all the way to the quiet point of your final breath. One shape, one path, drawn in full across the map, complete, whole, already there. And what a shape it is. Think of everything it would contain. Every morning you ever woke to light coming through a window. Every meal shared with people you loved. Every time you laughed until you could not breathe. Every quiet afternoon you have entirely forgotten that nonetheless happened, that is, nonetheless still there on the map, still real, still woven into the fabric. Every hard day you survived, every small joy you barely noticed, every face you ever looked into, all of it gathered into one continuous shape, the shape that is you, laid across the landscape of space-time, permanent and complete and lasting. That shape does not flow. That shape does not fade at one end while growing at the other. That shape simply is, all at once, the whole of you, every moment of you, held together in the fabric, the way every road of a country is held together on a map. And from up there, looking down, you could not say that your birth was gone. You could see it, right there, at the start of the shape, as real as every other part. You could not say your childhood had vanished. There it is, woven into the middle of the shape, still happening in its place, still real. You could not even say your final breath was something to fear, because from up there it is simply the far end of the shape, no more frightening than the far edge of a country you have not yet walked to. Sit with that image for a while. The whole of your life, a single shape, already drawn, already complete, every moment of it real and lasting. Not a thing that is being lost moment by moment. Not a candle burning down. A finished and permanent shape held forever in the fabric of the universe. And here is the consolation I have been carrying toward you all night, the thing I most want you to take into sleep. If your birth has not gone anywhere, then nothing has gone anywhere. Every moment you have ever grieved as lost is not lost. The people you have loved and let go, the versions of yourself you have outgrown, the golden afternoons you thought were gone forever, the small hands that once held yours and have since grown or slipped away, none of it has dissolved. It is all still there. in the fabric, at its own place on the map, as real as it ever was. The river told you that to live is to lose, that every moment must be paid for by surrendering it forever to a dead past. But the fabric says something kinder. The fabric says that to live is to add, moment after moment, to a shape that never fades, a story whose earlier pages are never torn out, a country whose roads remain real long after the traveler has walked on. I find that almost unbearably gentle, and I have found it so every time I have sat with it, in the quiet hours, when the river's story of endless loss grows too heavy to carry. The idea that nothing is truly lost. The idea that every moment, once lived, becomes a permanent part of the fabric of reality, woven in, fixed, real, lasting. The idea that your birth is not a vanished thing behind you, but a real and present location in the universe, as real tonight as it was the morning it happened. The idea that you are not a candle burning down toward nothing, but a shape being drawn across a landscape that keeps every line. Let me say it once more, slowly, so it can settle into the deep place where sleep begins. You were born. That moment is real. It did not vanish. It is still there, in the fabric, at its place on the map, as real as this breath. And every moment since, every single one, is also still there, also real, also lasting. You are not losing your life. You are composing it, line by line, into a shape that does not fade. And the awareness that is you is simply moving across that shape, gently, page by page, feeling each moment as now, because it is the page you have reached, while the whole book, beginning and middle and end, rests complete and permanent in the fabric of all that is. There is one more place we have to go before this is finished, one more part of the shape we have not yet faced together. We have spoken tenderly of your birth, of the moments behind you that are not gone, but the shape has another end. There is a far point on the map, a final line in the book, a last breath waiting at the edge of the country you have not yet walked to. And I have promised you, all night, that this would not end in dread, that the path through the dark middle would lead somewhere gentle. So, in the part to come, we will walk, slowly and without fear, toward that far point. We will look at it together, and I think you will find, as I have found, that a fixed point ahead is not a threat rushing toward you, but simply part of the complete and lasting shape of a life that, in the deepest sense, is already whole. But that is for the next quiet hour. For now, rest here, in the warmth of what we have found. Your birth has not gone anywhere. Nothing you have loved has gone anywhere. It is all still there, in the fabric, real and lasting. The whole shape of you held forever in a universe that keeps every moment it is given. Let that sit for a moment and breathe. We are almost at the end of our journey now. Now we come to the part of the shape we have not yet faced. We have walked tenderly back toward your birth, toward the moments behind you that are not gone. But a shape has two ends, and there is a far point on the map, somewhere across the country you have not yet walked to, that we have been quietly circling all night without naming. It is the last line of the book. It is the final point of the shape that is you. It is the moment of your last breath, and I promised you at the very beginning that we would walk toward it together, slowly, without fear. So let us walk toward it now. I want to be honest with you first, because you deserve honesty, and because pretending this part is weightless would be a small betrayal of how much it matters. If birth already exists as a fixed point in the fabric, real and lasting and there, then the same must be true of the last breath. The logic that comforted us a moment ago does not stop politely at the moments we like. If every moment of your life is already drawn on the map, then your final moment is drawn there too. It sits somewhere on the fabric, at its own place, as real and as settled as the morning you were born. It is not waiting to be created. It is not undecided. In the deepest sense the physics offers us, it is already there. Let that sit for a moment. I am not going to rush past it. It has weight, and the weight is real, and you are allowed to feel it. Because this is the thing the river protected you from. The river, for all its story of loss, gave you one great mercy. It told you the future was unmade. It told you that the last page had not been written, that anything was still possible, that the end was not yet real, and so did not yet have to be faced. The river let you keep your final moment safely in the realm of the not yet, the undecided, the someday, that need not be looked at directly, and the fabric takes that mercy away. The fabric says the last page is already printed. The fabric says the far point of your shape is already there. I know. Sit with it. Let it be heavy for as long as it needs to be heavy. I am here, and we are not going to leave it heavy. Because now I want to begin the slow turn, the turn I have been promising you since the first words of this night, the turn that I believe is truer than the fear. And it begins with a single quiet question. What is so frightening about a fixed point? Let that question breathe. What is it exactly that frightens us? When we imagine our final moment, we imagine it rushing toward us. That is the river's image, and it is the image that haunts us. A thing approaching from upstream, getting closer, closer. An inevitability bearing down, a wave that will one day reach us and sweep us under. The fear is a fear of motion, of something coming, of being pursued through time by an ending that closes the distance day by day, and it is exhausting to be pursued. It is exhausting to feel the thing gaining on you, to feel time itself carrying you toward it whether you wish it or not. But the fabric, the strange and gentle fabric, dissolves that image entirely, because in the fabric, nothing rushes toward you, nothing moves at all. Your final moment is not approaching. It is not closing the distance. It is not bearing down on you from upstream, because there is no upstream, because nothing flows. Your final moment is simply a place on the map, a fixed and quiet point, sitting where it sits, not moving, not pursuing, not coming for you. It is no more rushing toward you than a distant town is rushing toward a traveler who has not yet walked there. The town does not chase the traveler. The town simply waits, still in its place, real whether or not the traveler ever arrives. Do you feel the difference? The river made your ending a hunter. The fabric makes it a place, and a place cannot pursue you. A place cannot close in. A place simply is at rest, at its own location, while you move across the landscape at your own gentle pace. And one day, in the ordinary course of walking, you arrive there, the way you arrive anywhere, not because it came for you, but because the road led there all along. Is that not a softer thing to carry? Not an ending that hunts you down, but a place that waits quietly at the far edge of a country you are still walking through. Let me put it another way, because I want this to land in the soft place, not the sharp one. Imagine you are walking through a vast and beautiful land, and you know that somewhere far ahead the land has an edge, a final shore beyond which you will not walk. You have never seen this edge. You do not know exactly where it lies, but you know it is there, somewhere, at the far reach of the country. Does that knowledge ruin the walking? Does the existence of a far shore make the meadow you are crossing right now any less green, the light any less golden, the air any less sweet? The shore is real. The shore exists. And yet here you are, in the meadow, alive, walking, with miles of country still around you in every direction. The edge, being real, does not reach back and spoil the ground beneath your feet. It only sits there, far ahead, being what it is, while you live in the part of the land you have actually arrived at. That is what your final moment is, in the fabric. A far shore, a place that exists, real and settled, at the edge of the country of your life, and you are not there. You are here, in the meadow, in this breath, in this warm and living moment, with so much country still around you. The far shore, being real, does not pull you toward it any faster. It does not diminish the ground you stand on now. It simply waits, where it waits, while you live, where you live. And here is the gentlest reframe of all, the one I most want you to carry into sleep. We are afraid of the future because it is unknown. We fear what we cannot see ahead, the uncertainty, the not knowing what will come. But notice something tender about that fear. The fabric does not make your future known to you. You still cannot see the far shore. You still do not know the shape of the road ahead, the joys and turns and quiet surprises still waiting for you on the parts of the map you have not yet reached. The future being real does not mean the future is revealed. It only means the future exists, the way the next town exists for a traveler who has not yet seen it. You do not know what the next town looks like. You have not arrived, but it is there. So perhaps the fear of the future is really just this. It is the simple, ordinary fact of not yet having arrived at a place that nonetheless exists. That is all. Not a void ahead, not a nothingness waiting to swallow you. Just places you have not yet reached, real and waiting on the map, hidden from you only because you are not standing on them yet. The mystery of your future is not the mystery of whether it exists. It is only the mystery of what it holds. The same sweet mystery a traveler feels approaching an unseen valley, knowing it is there, not yet knowing what it will look like when the road finally turns and reveals it. Is that so frightening? To have valleys ahead you have not yet seen? To have moments waiting, real and quiet, that you will reach in the ordinary course of walking? Is that a thing to dread? Or is it perhaps simply what it has always meant to be alive and moving through a world larger than your sight? Let your breathing slow now. Let the sentences grow shorter with me, the way the light grows soft at the end of a long day. Your final moment is real, yes, but it is not coming for you. It is resting far ahead in its place. You are here, you are not there. Between here and there lies all the country you have not yet walked, and that country is real too. Every moment of it, every road, every turn you cannot yet see. You will arrive at the far shore one day, the way every traveler arrives somewhere, not because it hunted you, because the road led there. And when you arrive, that moment too will simply be itself. A place on the map, complete, at rest, real like every other. But that is not tonight. Tonight you are in the meadow. Tonight the road still winds ahead of you, long and quiet and full of unseen valleys. Tonight the far shore is far, and the ground beneath your feet is green. I want to leave you, before we move to the last part of our journey, with one quiet thought to rest against. The fabric took away the river's mercy, the comfort of an unmade future, but it gave you a deeper mercy in its place. It told you that the far shore cannot reach you, it cannot move, it cannot close the distance, it cannot pursue you through your nights, it can only wait. Still, where it waits, while you live, fully and freely, in every meadow between here and there. The river made your ending a thing that chases. The fabric makes it a thing that rests. And there is a great peace in that, if you let yourself feel it. The peace of knowing that nothing is coming for you, that the future is not a hunter, that it is only a country, real and quiet, that you have not yet walked to. Sit with that. Let it hold you. Your ending is not approaching. It is simply somewhere on the map, at rest, being what it is, the way your birth is at rest at the other end, being what it is. Two fixed points, one shape between them, and you, alive, moving gently across that shape, in this meadow, in this moment, in this breath. There is one part of our journey still to come, and it is the gentlest of all. We have faced the far shore, and we have found it is not a hunter, but a place. We have learned that nothing flows, that nothing is coming for us, that the whole shape of a life rests complete in the fabric. But a question remains, and it is the most human question of all. If nothing is moving, if all the moments simply are, then why does it feel so completely like moving? Why does life feel like flowing forward, like becoming, like change, if the truth is a shape at rest? In the last part of our journey, we will answer that softly, and the answer will bring us all the way home, back to your own breath, back to the warm page you are resting on tonight. But that is for the final quiet hour. For now, rest here in the meadow, with the far shore far and the ground green beneath you. Nothing is coming for you. Nothing is rushing. There is only this moment, real and whole, and the long, gentle country of a life that rests, complete, in a universe that keeps every place it holds. Let that sit for a moment and breathe. We are nearly home. There is one question we have not yet answered, and it is the most human question of all. We have come so far together. We have searched the equations and found no flow. We have walked the great map and found no glowing now. We have watched two travelers slice the same reality at different angles, and we have brought the whole strange picture home to your own life, to your birth that has not gone anywhere, and your final moment resting quietly at the far edge of your shape. We have built, piece by piece, a picture of a universe that does not move, where every moment simply is, all at once, complete and lasting. And yet here you are, breathing, feeling time pass, feeling this moment arrive and slip away and become the next, feeling, as completely as you have ever felt anything, that you are moving forward through your life, that things are changing, that you are becoming, that the river is flowing all around you exactly as it always has. So we have to ask it plainly, the question that has been waiting under everything. If all the moments exist at once, if nothing flows, if the universe is a fixed and finished fabric, then why does it feel so completely like moving? Let that question breathe, because it is a fair question and it deserves a real answer. And the answer is one of the gentlest things in this whole night. The answer is that the flow may not live in time at all. The flow may live in you. Let me show you what I mean, slowly, with a picture. Imagine a film strip, one of the old ones, a long ribbon of film made of thousands and thousands of single frames laid end to end. Each frame is a still image. Each frame does not move. The film strip is not flowing. It is just lying there, the whole length of it, every frame already exposed, every frame already there, a long, unmoving ribbon holding the whole story at once. Nothing on the film strip is in motion. It is as fixed and finished as the fabric we have been describing all night. It simply is, all of it, every frame, at once. And yet, when that film strip is read, frame by frame, in order, it produces the overwhelming experience of motion. A character walks, a river flows, a bird crosses the sky. Everything moves, but nothing on the strip is moving. The motion is not in the film. The motion appears only in the reading, in the passing of the frames one after another, each one slightly different from the last, the difference between them experienced as movement. The film strip is still. The motion is in the watching. Now hold that image, because I want to do something tender with it. I want you to imagine that the film strip is your life, and every frame is a single moment of you, not a picture of you. You, the whole of you, at that instant exactly as you were, frozen and complete and real in that one frame. And the frames lie end to end along the strip, the whole shape of your life, every moment of you already there, fixed, finished, not moving, just as we have said all night. The fabric, the map, the book. The film strip is simply another way to see the same still and lasting thing. But here is the gentle turn. Here is the answer to why it feels like moving. Look closely at any single frame of you, any single moment along the strip. That frame of you is a conscious creature. That frame of you has a mind. And what does that mind contain? It contains memory. It contains everything that came before it, on the strip, gathered up and held inside it. The frame of you at this moment carries within it the memory of the frame before, and that frame carried the memory of the frame before it, and so on, all the way back along the strip to the beginning. Each frame holds a slightly fuller memory than the last. Each frame remembers a little more. Do you see what that means? It means that every single frame of you, all along the strip, feels exactly the sense of motion you are feeling right now. The frame of you from this morning, frozen and still on the strip, nonetheless contains a mind that remembers last night, and so it feels itself to be moving forward, arriving fresh out of the past. The frame of you from 10 years ago, still there, still real on the strip, contains a mind that remembers everything up to that point and feels itself, in that frozen moment, to be living, becoming, flowing forward. Every frame feels the flow. Every frame feels like now, because every frame contains a mind that holds the frames behind it as memory and reaches toward the frames ahead as anticipation. And that asymmetry, that fuller and fuller accumulation of memory, is felt from the inside as the passage of time. The flow is not in the film strip. The flow is in what it is like to be a frame that remembers the frames behind it. Let that settle, because it dissolves the whole puzzle so gently. You asked why it feels like moving if nothing moves. And the answer is that the feeling of moving does not require anything to move. It only requires a mind that holds its past, frame after frame, each one fuller than the last. Lay those frames along a fixed and unmoving strip, and the strip does not flow, but every conscious frame upon it feels the flow completely, because every frame is looking backward at a growing pile of memory and forward at an open unknown, and that is what flowing feels like from the inside. The motion you feel is real as experience, exactly as we said at the very beginning. It is simply not a motion of time. It is the texture of being a creature who accumulates a past. I want to pause here and say something important, because I can feel how this might be heard the wrong way. It might sound, at first, as though I am telling you the flow is a trick, as though your whole vivid sense of living and changing and becoming is just an illusion, a flat and frozen thing dressed up to look alive. And I do not want you to hear it that way, because I do not believe it is true, and because it would steal something from you that you should not have to give up. The flow is not a lie. Let me say that clearly. The flow is not a lie. It is not a cheap trick the universe plays on you. It is the genuine, real, irreducible texture of what it is to be a conscious creature reading itself across a fixed landscape. The frames of you are still, yes, but the reading is real. The experiencing is real. The warmth of this moment as it arrives. The ache of the last one as it recedes. The forward lean of your whole being toward the moment still to come. All of that is completely real. It is not nothing. It is not a flat picture pretending to move. It is the actual lived experience of a mind making its way, frame by frame, through a life that exists all at once. The stillness of the film strip does not make the watching less real. The completeness of the fabric does not make your living less alive. In fact, I think it makes it more precious, not less. Because consider what we have actually discovered. We have discovered that the flow you feel is not borrowed from somewhere outside you. It is not something the universe hands to you ready-made. It is something you make in the deepest sense, simply by being a creature who holds her past and reaches toward her future. The flow is your own contribution to reality. It is the thing your awareness adds to a still and finished universe. The way the traveler adds the "you are here" to a map that has none. You are not passively carried by a river. You are the one who turns a still and silent fabric into a flowing, living, felt experience. The motion lives in you. The becoming lives in you. The present, that warm, bright edge of now, lives in you. You are not a leaf on the river. You are the thing that makes the river out of still water. Let that deepen, slowly, because we are beginning now to widen out into the largest questions, the ones we will carry all the way to the end. If the flow lives in awareness rather than in time, then what becomes of change? What becomes of growth, of becoming, of all the things we thought required time to actually move? Has the fabric taken those away from us? I do not think it has. I think it has only relocated them, moved them from out there to in here, from the world to the experience of the world. Change is real, but it is real the way the motion in a film is real. It is the difference between one frame and the next, felt by the mind that crosses them. You really did grow. You really did become who you are. The frame of you from years ago really is different from the frame of you tonight, and the long sequence of those differences, read in order by the mind that accumulates them, is exactly what we mean by change. Nothing about the fixed fabric makes your growth unreal. The frames are different, the differences are real, and you, crossing them, feel those differences as the genuine becoming of a genuine life. Change does not require time to flow. Change only requires that the frames differ and that someone reads them in order, and someone does. You do. You are reading them right now. And what of meaning? This is the question that sits under all the others, the one that wakes people in the dark. If every moment already exists, fixed and finished, does anything I do actually matter? If the page is already written, why live it at all? Sit with that for a moment, and then let me offer you something gentle. The page being written does not make your living of it any less real, any less yours, any less meaningful. Think again of the reader and the book. The story has an ending. It was complete before the reader opened it. And yet the reader weeps at the sad parts and rejoices at the glad ones. And that weeping and rejoicing is not made false by the fact that the pages were already printed. The meaning of a story does not come from its being unwritten. It comes from its being lived through, felt, experienced, page by page, by a mind that is really there. Your life is meaningful not because its moments are undecided, but because they are real, because you are really there in each of them, really feeling them, really loving and choosing and aching and becoming your way across the fabric of your own shape. The fixedness does not drain the meaning out. The meaning was never in the uncertainty. The meaning was always in the living, and here, perhaps, is the most consoling thing of all, the thing that begins to turn this whole picture toward the gentle place where we will end. If every moment you have ever lived is a frame on the strip, still there, still real, then every moment of meaning you have ever made is also still there, still real, permanent, woven into the fabric forever. The kindness you once showed someone who needed it is not gone. It is still there, on the strip, real and lasting. The love you once felt, in its fullness, on some ordinary evening you have half forgotten, is not spent. It is still there. Every moment in which your life meant something, in which you reached out, in which you were fully and truly present, all of it is kept, held, real, lasting as long as the fabric itself lasts. The river told you that meaning was as fleeting as everything else, that every moment of love and kindness and presence was spent the instant it was lived, paid into a dead past, gone. But the fabric tells you that nothing meaningful is ever lost. Every moment you ever made matter is still mattering, in its place, on the strip, in the fabric, real and permanent and kept. You have not been pouring your life into a void. You have been composing it, moment by meaningful moment, into a shape that lasts forever. This is the philosophical ground we will stand on as we come to the end of our journey, that the flow is real and lives in you, the texture of a mind crossing a fixed and lasting landscape. That change is real, the difference between frames, felt by the one who reads them. That meaning is real, and more than real, permanent, because every moment you ever lived with your whole heart is still there, woven into the fabric, kept forever. The stillness of the universe does not diminish any of it. It only tells you that none of it can be lost. So when you feel time flowing tonight, as you will, as you always have, Do not think of it as a lie the universe is telling you. Think of it as your own gift to a still and silent fabric. The flow is the music you make as you read yourself, frame by frame, across the fixed and lasting shape of your life. The frames do not move, but you are alive in every one of them, and the reading is real, and the becoming is real, and the meaning is real and permanent and kept. We have one part of our journey left, and it will bring us all the way home. We have learned why it feels like moving, even though nothing moves. We have learned that the flow lives in you, that change and meaning survive the stillness, that nothing of value is ever lost. In the final hour, we will gather all of it together and circle back to where we began, to the book that holds every page, to the single warm page your awareness is resting on tonight. But that is for the last quiet stretch of our path. For now, rest here, in the gentle knowing that the motion you feel is your own, that you are the one who turns still frames into a living life, and that every frame you have ever lived is still there, real and lasting, kept forever in a universe that loses nothing. Let that sit for a moment and breathe. We are nearly home now, and so we come, at last, to the end of our journey, which is really a kind of homecoming. We have traveled a long way tonight. We went out into the deep dark to watch two travelers pass. We walked across the great map of space-time and found no glowing dot of now. We searched the equations and found no river, no flow, no moment marked as the present. We turned the whole strange picture inward toward your own life, and we found your birth still resting at one end of your shape and your final moment resting quietly at the other. And now, in this last gentle hour, we are going to widen out one final time, as far as we can go, and then we are going to come all the way home, back to you, back to your breath, back to the one warm page you happen to be resting on tonight. So let us widen out. Let us ask the largest question we can ask, softly, the way you might ask it lying in the dark just before sleep. If all of this is true, if the universe is a fabric that holds every moment at once, if nothing flows and nothing is lost, and the now is only the place where awareness rests, then what does it mean to have lived a life at all? The river had an answer to that question, and it was a heavy one. The river said that a life is a flame, a small, bright burning that flares up out of nothing, glows for a while, and then goes out, leaving darkness behind it as though it had never been. The river said that to live is to be consumed, moment by moment, that everything you experience is spent the instant you experience it, paid forever into a dead past, and that at the end the whole flame simply gutters and vanishes, and the moments it once held are gone as if they never were. That is the story most of us carry, somewhere deep, whether we say it aloud or not, the story of the flame that flickers out. But the fabric tells a different story, and I want to give it to you now, fully, because it is the most consoling thing I know, and it is the thing I most want you to take down into sleep. A life is not a flame that flickers out. A life is a shape that lasts. Let that sit for a moment. Let it settle into the deep place. Every moment you have ever lived is still there, not as a memory, not as an echo, as a real and permanent location in the fabric of the universe, unchanged, complete, lasting. The river said your moments were spent the instant you lived them. The fabric says they were kept, every single one, woven in, fixed, real. The whole shape of you from the first breath to the last, held forever in the structure of all that is, the way every road of a country remains on the map long after the traveler has walked on. And think now of what that means for the moments that mattered most. Think of the moments of joy you have known, the ones you have grieved as gone. Some morning, years ago, when the light came through a window and someone you loved was still there, close enough to touch, and the whole world felt, for a few unrepeatable minutes, completely whole. The river told you that morning was gone, spent, dissolved into a past that no longer exists, recoverable only as a fading photograph in your mind. But the fabric says no. The fabric says that morning is still there, still real, still happening, in its place, at its own location on the map, exactly as full and warm and whole as it was when you lived it. It did not dissolve. It cannot dissolve. Nothing on the map dissolves. That morning is woven into the fabric of the universe, permanent, lasting, real, whether or not your awareness is resting on it tonight. Let that deepen. Let it deepen slowly, the way warmth spreads through cold hands. The people you have loved and lost, the ones whose absence you carry like a stone in the chest. The river told you they were gone, swept downstream, dissolved into a past that holds nothing. But the moments you shared with them are still there. The afternoon you laughed together until you could not breathe is still there, at its place on the map, still real, still happening in the only sense that ever mattered, woven permanently into the fabric. The sound of their voice, the warmth of their company, the ordinary hours you did not know to treasure because you thought there would always be more, all of it is still there, not gone, not lost, kept, held in the structure of reality the way every moment is held, equally real, equally lasting, equally there. And the version of yourself from years ago, the younger you, the one who saw the world with eyes that had not yet learned what you now know. You may think that self is gone, replaced, grown out of, dissolved into the person you are tonight. But that self is still there too, still real, at its place on the map, still living its moments, still feeling the world the way it felt the world. You have not destroyed your earlier selves by becoming who you are now. You have only added to the shape. They are all still there. Every version of you, every age you have ever been, all of them woven into the one continuous shape that is the whole of your life, lasting, complete, real. Do you feel how the loss begins to soften? Do you feel how the river's great story of endless surrender begins to give way to something gentler? Nothing you have loved has been spent. Nothing you have lived has been thrown away. It is all still there, in the fabric, kept forever, a permanent part of the structure of the universe, as real tonight as the moment you first lived it. And now, the hardest thing made soft, the far shore, the final point of your shape. We faced it together, and we found that it is not a hunter but a place, not a thing that rushes toward you, but a quiet location that waits at the edge of the country. And now, at the very end, I want to offer you the last and deepest consolation. If a life is a shape that lasts, then the final point does not undo the shape. It does not erase it. It does not reach back and unmake the morning of joy or the afternoon of laughter or the younger self seeing the world with new eyes. The far shore is simply the edge of the shape, the place where the drawing ends, the last line of a book that remains, fully written, forever. Your final moment does not delete your life. It completes it. And a completed shape is not a tragedy. A completed shape is a whole thing, a finished thing, a lasting thing, real in every part, kept in every part, for as long as the fabric itself endures, which is to say, forever. A life is not a flame that flickers out. A life is a shape that lasts. Say it once more to yourself, gently, as the night settles around you. Nothing is lost. Nothing is spent. Everything you have lived is still there, and everything you have yet to live is already there. And the whole of you, beginning and middle and end, rests complete and permanent in a universe that keeps every moment it is given. And now let us come home. Let us come all the way home, back to where we started, back to the very first image I gave you when this night began. Do you remember the book? The thick book that holds an entire life inside it, every page already printed, every page already there. The first page and the last page and every page in between, all of them existing at once between the covers, all of them equally real, and your finger resting on a single page. That page felt like the only page, because it was the one your fingertip was touching, the one you could feel. But the other pages had not gone anywhere. The pages behind your finger were not torn out. The pages ahead were not blank. They were all there, all the time. The whole book complete and bound. And your finger was simply resting on one of them. That is where we began. And now, at the end, you understand what it means. The book is your life. Every page already written. The morning of your birth, still there, near the beginning. The far shore of your final moment, still there, near the end. And all the pages in between, every joy and every loss and every ordinary forgotten afternoon, all of them still there, still real, still printed, still kept. The whole book complete. And you, the awareness that is you, are the soft attention resting on a single page tonight. This page, this one, the page you are on right now, in this room, in this breath, in this quiet hour. Of all the pages of your life, all of them equally real, all of them equally there, this is the one your finger happens to be resting on. This is your now, not the only real moment, not the live edge of a flowing river, just the page where your awareness has come to rest tonight, as warm and as real as every other page, no more and no less, simply the one you are touching now. And what a gentle thing that is to know as you drift towards sleep, that this moment is not precious because it is the only one that exists. This moment is precious the way every page is precious, the way every moment of your life is precious, because it is real and it is yours, and it is woven forever into the fabric of all that is. You are not losing it as you live it. You are not spending it. You are simply resting on it for a while, the way you have rested on every page that came before, the way you will rest on every page still to come. And when your awareness moves gently onto the next page, this one will not vanish. It will stay here in the fabric, real and lasting. This quiet night, this soft breath, this warm and ordinary moment kept forever. So let your finger rest. Let your awareness settle onto this single page, this one warm page, and let it be enough, because it is enough. There is nowhere you need to rush to. The pages ahead are already written, real and waiting, and they will be there when you reach them. In the ordinary course of turning, the pages behind are not gone, and they never will be. There is only this, only now, only the gentle weight of your awareness resting on the page you are on tonight, in a book that holds the whole of you, complete and lasting and real. Let your breathing slow, let your body grow heavy, let the day you have lived sink down into the fabric where it will rest forever, real and kept. One more page in the book that is you. You were born, and that moment is still there. You have loved, and those moments are still there. You have lived 1,000 ordinary days you thought were lost, and every one of them is still there. And somewhere far ahead, at the quiet edge of your shape, your final page waits, at rest, not coming for you, simply being what it is, the gentle close of a story that will remain, fully written, forever. But that is not tonight. Tonight you are here, on this page, in this breath, in this warm and living moment. Tonight, the far shore is far, and the ground beneath you is soft, and the whole of your life rests complete and lasting in a universe that loses nothing. So rest now. Let go of the river. Let go of the fear that anything is slipping away. Nothing is slipping away. It is all still there, all of it, kept forever in the fabric of all that is. And you are simply here, resting on one warm page in the great complete book of a life that does not fade. Sleep well tonight. Rest in the knowing that nothing you have loved is lost. And dream, if you dream, of the whole of you, every page at once, held gently and forever in a universe that keeps every moment it is given. Good night.